Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Brew. Today, I will be reading from the r/EntitledPeople subreddit, so let's jump into it. Vindictive ex-wife illegally signed application to local HOA in my name. I'll start this off by saying my ex is extremely vindictive. We've been fully divorced since about right before the pandemic started. We sold the house we shared, and I didn't have to pay her alimony because she cheated and we're in an at-fault state. It was messy since D-Day. All of the stereotypes. First, the sobbing, and then trickled truth saying, "I love you. It was just one time. Okay, it was 2 years." Then the gaslighting, followed by, "I'm going to take you for everything," before packing her shit and walking out. I feel like I never really knew the woman my ex was in all the time we were together. We were married 5 years and together for 7. And in 2 of those 5 married years, she had affairs with 3 other men. The final one being a foreign businessman, from what I could find out. Yes, I got tested for STDs and was thankfully negative. She got pregnant by the final affair partner, and no, I did not sign the birth certificate because I found out about all the affairs before the baby was born, thanks to a call from the first affair partner. My ex tried to go full scorched earth on me, but since we live in and were married in an at-fault state, she lost. We also didn't pay equally into our house, and the equity was divided 70-30. So I got a pretty good cash payout when I sold our marital home, and used it as a down payment on a different house closer to my job. It's a bit of a downgrade, but suits a single guy in his 30s like me just fine. My ex did show up to my house soon after, but I refused to let her in. She bitched at me on the front step that I'd financially ruined her in the divorce. I said that she was fully willing to do that to me first, and then the bitch had the audacity to say it should have been my life fucked over and not hers. I laughed so hard and said it was karma. She yelled that she'd sue me for what was rightfully hers. I said if she was gonna sue me, then go ahead and sue me, because it'd end up the same way in court because she has nothing but a false sob story. She was the cheater, not me. Now, I am no angel, but I didn't do anything to her, and she was the one who ruined our marriage. She then said she'd tell everyone she could that I'd abused her, so I retorted that I'd sue her for defamation if she did, and that I was currently recording our interaction via doorbell camera. She went wide-eyed and her jaw dropped, the look some are calling the shocked Pikachu face. I then asked why she was even here, since she has a new man in her life that knocked her up. She just huffed at me and said that he isn't around much, and she's stuck in a tiny apartment living off his funds until he comes back. It was immature of me, I know, but I did the bit of playing the world's smallest violin. She yelled at me to go fuck myself while storming to her car, and I yelled back that I'd sooner do that than her anytime. Haven't seen her since. Anyway, now with the backstory of my ex out of the way, on to the HOA. There is an HOA in my neighborhood. However, I was not legally obligated to join it because the last owner of my house was not a member. I made sure of that through a real estate lawyer as well. The HOA had no grounds to force me to join and were not happy about it. The HOA president would show up with forms every week for the first month demanding I sign them. Then she threatened to take me to court, to which I had to get a cease and desist sent to her from my lawyer to make her stop. So she then started harassing me by looking for infractions she could possibly report to the city. An inspector came out several times and found nothing wrong. I had the police called on me several times for noise complaints because I was playing music on a Saturday afternoon while having my friends over. I caught the HOA president trespassing once when she was trying to peer into my windows. I called the police, but she denied ever doing it. So I got more cameras, and she hasn't trespassed since. But I still got repeated passive-aggressive letters saying that my cameras were not an approved addition to my house. some months ago, I started getting letters for fines in the mail, and when I contacted the HOA, their representative claimed that they had it on record that I had joined and needed to pay all fees effective immediately. I told them that that was not possible. I definitely did not join and never will. Then they emailed a scanned copy of the forms, and sure enough, they had a signature on them, but it was not mine. It was very similar in some ways, and then I recognized it as being my ex's handwriting. She knew what my signature looked like, but it was a loose imitation at best. I got in touch with a lawyer right away over the forged signature. The HOA still demanded to go to court, and it took 7 months before that happened. Meanwhile, they were stacking unpaid fines against me weekly and were threatening to put a lien on my house. We went to court, and the HOA president looked very smug. My lawyer pointed out how the signature wasn't the same as mine and was very inconsistent in the various forms. Also, I'd never allowed the HOA president in my house, and I'd never requested the forms. The idiot HOA president actually slammed her palm on the table and said that it was still binding. When pressed where the fraudulent signature came from, she admitted that my ex-wife called the HOA and they sent her the forms, then got them back in the mail signed. HOA Karen actually claimed that she thought I'd signed them. The judge looked at her like she was an idiot and asked if she was serious. She confirmed she was. The judge then asked how a woman who I was no longer married to, that had never even lived with me in my current residence, was supposed to have any bearing on whether or not I joined an HOA. She then went quiet, and I could see the "oh shit" look on her face as the hamster wheels were turning, and she seemed to finally mentally put the pieces together. My lawyer then counterclaimed that what the HOA did was blatant fraud and legal actions must be taken, and they were. I countersued the HOA for emotional distress of the harassment I'd received from them since moving in, which had been nearly a year at this point, which I also had lots of proof of. That won me about 10 grand after lawyer fees, and I decided to put that towards my mortgage. The HOA president was also removed from her throne, I assume, because I haven't seen her since. I'd like to think that she went out kicking and screaming. I wanted to go after my ex for forging my signature, but can't. Because not long after she forged my signature on those forms, she apparently left the country to be with her baby daddy. From my understanding, she's somewhere in Europe, so I can't do anything against her unless she ever returns to the US. So that was unfortunately a wash. I'm not getting letters from the HOA anymore though, and the new president has promised to keep things completely cordial from now on. An HOA and an evil ex story? What a combo! Not to mention a double karma / payout. I really liked this story. Poor OP has been put through the absolute ringer, but it always makes me happy when the justice system is fair and actually delivers the rightful karma. I think OP should still pursue further charges on his ex-wife though. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that he could still charge her regardless of her leaving the country. And if she ever does come back to the US with fraud charges against her, she'll likely have a warrant, which would be hilarious and even more rightful karma. But OP still got 2 glorious, well-deserved victories, and against 2 Karens at that. Did I mention that I really like this story? I hope you did too, and please leave a like and subscribe if you want. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!